What's going on, guys? Jorge Contreras here, and I'm going to go over my recession-proof Airbnb strategies. If there's one thing for sure, ladies and gentlemen, is that the world is changing, and the world is changing fast. I feel 99% sure that we are already in a recession. Of course, the media won't tell you this until January of 2023, but we are in a recession. And this is not something to be fearful of. This is actually something to look forward to, and here's why. A lot of you maybe want to get into real estate, into Airbnb, and if you want to go into the purchasing strategies, you might have not been able to in the last couple months or years because you've been priced out. You don't have the purchasing power, the down payment, the closing costs. But guess what? I believe there's going to be a buying opportunity. Now, what I don't know is how much prices are going to drop. I don't know if it's 5, 10, 15, 20, or 25%, but I feel very confident that prices will drop, again, 5 to 25%, somewhere in that range. What you want to do is be excited. You want to be prepared for a buying opportunity. The number one thing you could do right now is start a subleasing business where you rent properties, get permission in writing, and then launch them as a short-term rental. When you are subleasing, no down payments and no closing costs. Plus, interest rates are the highest they've been in decades. So it's not the best time at this specific moment to get into some purchasing because prices are already starting to level off, and pretty soon, sometime maybe in the fourth quarter of this year, I believe prices will start to drop. I believe in 2023 there's going to be some great purchasing opportunities, and to prepare you for that, you want to sublease right now in 2022. Get 1, 2, or 3 subleases under your belt. Grow and accelerate that capital, and then start buying real estate in 2023. So with that being said, I want to go over some of my recession-proof strategies. The first thing that I want you guys to know before I get into that is that recessions typically last 18 months. On average, when we look at all the recessions that we've had in U.S. history, the average recession will last about 18 months. And again, it is something to look forward to because if you were buying your dream car today, and let's say that dream car right now is $75,000, but in a year, that dream car would be $55,000, $65,000. Would you be fearful of that, or would you look forward to that? You would look forward to it. The same thing with real estate. So again, this is a time to be optimistic. It's a time to be positive. It is something to look forward to. There's going to be the biggest wealth transfer in U.S. history potentially. The other thing that I want to share as I go into these strategies when it comes to a recession is that traveling is actually a priority. And let me tell you why Airbnb has a huge advantage during this recession. Typically, before Airbnb became popular, when people would think of traveling, they would think of buying a plane ticket, going to, fill in the blank, a different state, a different country, but flights are extremely expensive right now. So here's the thing, fear no more because Airbnb is here. And with Airbnb, right, you can have a vacation without needing to travel by plane because you can actually travel by car and have what I call a staycation. Imagine you live in Los Angeles, California, and you want to go to San Diego, beautiful sunny San Diego, which is 2 hours away, right, 2 hours south. So you're having a staycation in a local city, not far away, and you rented a beautiful property with a pool, a jacuzzi, a game room, maybe some arcades, and maybe it's a couple blocks from the beach and the restaurants, right? You could have an incredible experience without getting on an airplane, which would keep your costs down. So I am 100% confident that during this recession, Airbnb entrepreneurs will not just survive, we will thrive, because we are providing an alternative option to having a vacation without breaking the bank. So that's the first thing, guys. The other thing that I want to go over is there are 4 types of bookings, and I teach this inside of my coaching program, but I want to give you guys the overview. There are 4 types of booking that will never be impacted by a recession. Number 1, we know how to attract corporate bookings. These are companies who are having their employees travel for work, for training, or to provide their product or service in a particular area. These companies will continue to book Airbnbs because they can have a much better experience at a fraction of the cost. Number two is we have government bookings, right? With government bookings, I'll give you an example. Just about 2 months ago, I had a family of 4 who came from Guatemala, and they were seeking political asylum, right? They're going through some difficult times in their country of Guatemala. So they came to the US and seek a political asylum, and the government placed them at one of my Airbnbs, where I basically made 3 times the amount of revenue on a monthly basis that I would make if it was a long-term rental. And so this is a really small 2-bedroom unit that if I had long-term tenants in there, they would be paying about $1,500 a month. But on Airbnb, the government paid $4,500 a month for 3 months. So a total of $13,500. So these government bookings, right, they will continue to exist regardless of what's going on in the economy. The third types of bookings is relocation companies. This is whenever a family has some type of damage in their home and they need to move to a different location for some reason. Well, guess what? I have a family that just checked out on July 4th. They paid $37,000 for 4 months. It is an average of $9,500 per month. My payment on this house is only $2,800. So when you add the payment to the house, utilities and cleaning, after you deduct those expenses, my net profit after all expenses per month was $6,500 per month for 4 consecutive months. Again, this is through relocation companies. The fourth and final type of booking that will continue to thrive regardless of any type of economy is traveling nurses who are traveling for work. Even during the pandemic, there was a huge increase of traveling nurses staying at Airbnbs. Again, regardless of what's going on in the economy, the reality is, unfortunately, hospitals get more and more busy, but there's going to be more and more nurses traveling for work. And so these types of strategies will always exist no matter what. Okay, guys? The other thing that I want to finish with is that there's really 2 types of people when it comes to starting an Airbnb business. And it's pretty straightforward. There's action takers, and then there are people who go into analysis paralysis where they overthink everything and they always find a reason why right now is not a good time. And unfortunately, these types of people always pass on opportunities. They're always passing up great opportunities because, again, they find one reason. There could be 10 good reasons why right now is a great time, but then they find one reason why right now is not a good time, and they just focus and expand on that one bad reason, and they never get started. They end up waiting on the sidelines for this perfect magical moment that will never come. And what I've learned about action takers is that we take action, and even if things don't go as planned at the beginning, we can adjust and pivot, adjust and pivot. And as time goes on, we learn, we get better, we get smarter, we get wiser, we get stronger, and we keep moving forward, right? The only thing that is constant in life is change. You have to be able to adapt. So I am excited about this recession because it is an opportunity. Here's a sad truth. 20 to 30% of employees in the US will not have a job in the next 18 months. People will begin to get fired. Actually, it already began. In the last 30 to 60 days, there's big companies that began with massive layoffs. You do not want to wait until you get laid off. You need to be proactive. You need to start now looking for a new side hustle, looking for your second stream of income. So if you're listening or watching and you are ready to build your Airbnb empire, I want to point you in the direction of some free content. Of course, you could continue to listen to all these episodes on my podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at the Jorge Contreras, and where I post every day, and I'm doing Instagram lives multiple times a week. I also have an ebook, I have a website. There's basically a ton of free information to help you understand how this business works and why this is the number one effective way to replace a 9-to-5 income. On top of that, in the description down below of this podcast, you're going to find a link where you can actually book a call with my team to learn how we can help you build a multiple six-figure Airbnb business without owning real estate. With that being said, guys, make sure you guys check out the links in the description down below, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.